this is the definition of a derivative. It is the limit as delta x approaches 0 of f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x. An example of this would be our function of 4x. Then we simply plug in that for where that is. And so the limit as delta x approaches 0 of 4 times x plus delta x minus 4x over delta x. And if you distribute that, you can cancel the 4x's, and you're left with 4 delta x over delta x, which equals 4.
Okay, now we're going to do basic differentiation. So this is the differentiation symbol, and it means the derivative with respect to x, and because x is our variable. So when doing a basic differentiation and you have a power, you multiply this down to this number and subtract 1. So then you get 2 times 6, which is 12, and 2 minus 1, which is 1, which you don't have to write that. And now we have, now this is called the product rule, where you have this product times this product, and you have to differentiate it. So you take the first one, and this is the first one, and you take the derivative of that, like we did up here, so the derivative would just be 2, and then you multiply by this, and you get 8x squared. Then you switch it, you take the derivative of this, multiply by the original of this one, and you get 16x squared plus 24x. So then you combine like terms, and you get 24x squared plus 24x. And now this one's called the quotient rule, because you are dividing, and you can't just take the derivative of the top and bottom, because that doesn't work. So you have to take the derivative of this and multiply by that number, and you get 8x squared. Then you take the derivative of this one and multiply by that one, but you have to subtract this time, unlike this one where we added. And you get 16x squared plus 4. And then on the bottom, you square whatever this term is on the bottom. So you get 2x squared plus squared. So then you simplify it, and you get 2x plus 1 over x to the third.
Trigonometric functions. So the first thing you have to remember, so you have to have these memorized throughout the chapters. It'll help you a lot. So you have to know the derivative of sine off the top of your head will be cosine. And then the opposite, cosine, will be negative sine. And then the derivative of tangent will be secant squared. Another thing you have to remember is that off the top of your head, that the derivative of e dx is simply e dx. And then this one's pretty easy to remember as well. The derivative of ln x is 1 over x. So these next problems are based on chain rule, and what you have to cover is, so what you have to do if you have something inside a function, you do the derivative of the outside with the inside left alone, so you bring down the 4, times the derivative of the inside, so it brings down the power once, and then you multiply it by 3 because the derivative of 3x plus 3 is 3, and then you just multiply these together and you get 12 times the quantity 3x plus 3 cubed. And it also applies to sine. So if you have sine 4x, basically anything other than just x in the middle, you do the derivative of the outside. So you do the derivative of sine, which is cosine, with the inside left alone, so cosine 4x, times the derivative of the inside, which is 4. So you get cosine 4x times 4, which is 4 cosine 4x.